Hey, good morning. It's Mark here. Another morning rant. All right, let's get into it. So, Congressman Tim Ryan, Democrat, where is he from? Ohio. He was on the floor of the House, and he did not break down the Democrats' bill line item by line item, but he did give an overall view of what's in the bill. So for people like Christian Cinema and Joe Manchin and some people in the Republican Party that believes that this is a bad bill and it should not pass, here's an overview of what's in this bill, in addition to roads, bridges, ports, things like that. Let's let Tim Ryan say it.
This infrastructure bill is about two things. This is about putting money in the pockets of the American people who've had a rough go for the last 40 years, and this is about taking on China. Now, we've seen in the last couple of weeks, CEO pay since the 1970s has gone up 1,300%. We've seen that the top 10% of the wealthiest people in this country own 90% of the stocks. And so this bill is about how do we get money in the pockets of people. Universal preschool, that's 1 year less of child care that a family has to pay. That's money in their pockets. Capping child care at 7% of your income, that's money in your pockets. Helping seniors with glasses or hearing aids, that's money in their pockets. A tax cut, finally, for working people, not for the top 1%, but for families, that's money in their pockets. And if we don't recognize in this chamber and down the hall that China is a looming threat, not even looming, they're here. Semiconductors, they outmanufacture us. Electric vehicles, they outmanufacture us. Communications equipment, they outmanufacture us. Pharmaceuticals, our seniors get their pharmaceuticals from China. When are we going to wake up? When are we going to have the guts to level the playing field? The guts to take on China, the guts to do what's right so our kids and grandkids can thrive in the United States. We have got to make these investments. We've got to make them now. Washington has to wake up, or the next bill we're going to have to pass is Mandarin in all our schools, because the game's going to be over. Yield back the balance of my time.
If I could drop this mic without breaking it for him. So, Republicans are all about hating the Chinese. They're all about hating China. They believe Biden is a man for China. Well, if you want to defeat China, if you want to prove that that this country is not a Chinese heavy affiliate, then passing something like this would help. Put money in people's pockets. That's what it's all about. Since the 1970s, since the 1980s, and I gotta keep going back to this. Since the 1980s, since the Reagan Revolution, they have tried to do trickle-down economics. And since the 1980s, the shit has not worked. It has not worked. Giving money to the top 10% of this country, they only keep it. They only invest it. They only put it back into their companies. They do not hire more people. They do not increase their own minimum wages. They do not do anything that's going to help their employees. Think about it like this. This is a capitalist society. A capitalist society. But every time the country goes bad, those same capitalists that say, get out of my pocket, go back to the government and say, hey, bail us out. This is the same people that if they can pay you 75 cents an hour, they would. Go back to American history. Go back through American history. We have fought for unions because guess what? They had people working 7 days a week, 12 to 16 hours a day. People fought for a Saturday and Sunday off. People fought for an 8-hour day because these people working 12 hours in mandatory 1 day off. If a company can make you work longer and cheaper, they would, because that's capitalism. That's capitalism. One thing this country has never done, one thing this country has never been able to do, is get itself away fully from slave labor. They will pay you a slave's wage, which in my ancestors' opinion is absolutely nothing. If they can keep minimum wage at $7.10 an hour or whatever it is right now, they would. Hell, I can go back to when I was young and people would laugh at me because they think that's too much. How about this? I am doing my family's history. I'm going through my family tree. And in researching, I found that my great-grandfather in 1939, when he was 32 years old, he worked as a farm laborer. He worked 60 hours a week. This is all in the census records. He worked 60 hours a week for 40 weeks. Do you know how much he was paid in that total time? He was paid $148 in 40 weeks. It's 52 weeks in a year. In 40 weeks, he worked 60 hours a week on a farm as a laborer, and he got paid $140 for the whole 40 weeks. In today's dollars, in 2021 dollars, that's $3,314.40. I put it on Facebook for my family to see. I'm like, hey, look at what my great grandpa did. Look at what your grandpa did. In 1939, at the age of 32, he was a farm laborer, 40 weeks, 60 hours a week. He only made $140 plus. That's equivalent to $3,314.40 in today's money. But back then, bread was a penny or a nickel. A hamburger was a dime. If you want to talk about inflation, this is inflation. A burger now is what, $2-3, unless you can go to the dollar value meal menu. So I saw another thing inside the census that my grandmother, her rent was $1 a month. So putting money back into the hands of working Americans. I've said this before. There are three people in this country: the rich, the middle class, and the poor. You give a poor man money, he's going to spend it because he or she needs to buy clothes, food, pay bills, things like that. They're going to spend it. So the money comes in, it goes out, living hand to foot, living paycheck to hand to mouth, living paycheck to paycheck. That money is going to come in and go out. The middle income people, they're going to take that money and they're going to pay bills, and they're going to do this. They're going to pretty much do the same thing. A poor person may go out and just buy some flashy crap, or do some responsible things, but for the most part, they're going to go out and just spend it. The middle income people, they're going to probably put it in the 401k if they can, but for the most part, they're going to try to pay down their debts. They're going to pay their bills, and they're going to take care of their children. A rich man, a rich woman, they're going to invest in stocks. They don't need the money. They're going to invest in stocks. They're going to make that money work for them. Which one are you? Are you the one, and this is stereotypical for black people, so just bear with me. Are you the one that's going to go out and buy jewelry with your newfound wealth? Are you the one that's going to buy something that's going to help your kids? Are you the one that's going to spend money and invest it? That's going to let you know which one of you are. That's going to let you know where you fall in that hierarchy. And all Tim Ryan is saying is, let's put money back into the hands of the middle class. Let's put money back into the hands of the poor. Let's put money back into the hands of the elderly. Let's defeat China. I guarantee you he's right. I guarantee you he's right. If we don't invest in America, like they said, America first, they want to make America great again and all this other bullcrap. If you want to make America great, you have to invest in Americans. That's the way you do it. Invest in Americans. Give that money to American people. And you can say, well, it's socialism. No, it's not socialism. And if you want to say socialism, look at what the big companies are doing when they start to fail. Look at Delta and Southwest Airlines and things like that. When the virus was rampant, they went to the government and said, "Give us money because we don't have any passengers." Think about that. We don't have any passengers because you guys have locked everything down. So give us money to keep us afloat. For years, they said, government, stay out of my business. But when it came time for the 2007-2008 market crash, they came to America and said, pay us because we're insolvent. We're too big to fail. If the Ford didn't take any money, but if GMC and all these other, the big three or whatever, minus Ford, they said that if we fail, we not only fail, but the people that make our parts fail, and it'll be a chain reaction. So we're too big to fail. So pay us. And then when you pay us, get out of our business. The rich told Donald Trump, if you do this $1.5 trillion tax plan, what we're going to do is we're going to buy back stocks, because the less stock you have on the market, the more expensive that stock is, and people will want to spend more for that one piece of stock. If a stock has been diluted and it's $5 per share, and if they buy back stock, and now because there's less stock out there on the market, it increased that $5 to $50, that's good for the company. So all he's saying is put money back into the hands of American people. Cap spending daycare income by 7%. 7% of your income. And daycares are getting freaking crazy. $500 a week, $600 a week, $1,000 a week. For people who make minimum wage, who can't afford $1,000 a week. But if you take it and say, well, we're going to cap that at 7% of your income, and say that, okay, instead of $1,000 a week, now a person with one child has to pay $300 a week. That's $700 a week that person can use in their pockets to do other things with, to finally get their car fixed, to get their lights turned back on. The man is right. But I'm going to leave it at that, people. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe, do all that other goofy stuff. And I will see you guys on the next one, all right? Y'all take care. I'm out. I got to sneeze, so I got to close this thing out. All right.